With a geopolitical landscape in a flux, what is Europe's roadmap for the future? Does it need to rethink its collective security and defence policy? And by doing so, will it then create an impenetrable EU fortress? Time to take a closer look. We're here at a Belgian army base in Leopoldsburg to talk to Colonel Sassel to learn a little bit more about what armies do and the security challenges facing Europe. The base at Leopoldsburg is also where an EU battle group trains.
In 2013, the first time in almost 5 to 10 years, Europe talked about defense, and they said defense matters. And they were looking at 3 different strengths. We were looking at strengths as visibility, capacity, and industry. Europe still lacks strategic capacities.
The origins of a collective defense policy date as far back as the 1940s. It started with the Treaty of Brussels, signed in 1948 and amended in 1954 in Paris. It was implemented by a new military organisation, the Western European Union. The most important idea of the treaty was in Article 5, the idea of coming to the aid of another under attack. Following the Cold War and Balkan conflicts, European leaders took a decisive step to develop collective capabilities. Capabilities that included the creation of a credible military force. But it wasn't until the 2009 Lisbon Treaty that things really kicked off. The Common Security and Defence Policy, or CSDP, was created with solidarity serving as an impetus for joint action. The treaty created an umbrella organisation, the European External Action Service, under the reins of an already existing EU High Representative for Security and Foreign Affairs. The post is currently held by Federica Mogherini. The EEAS includes a military staff.
The objective in all these trends and lines of action is to make best use of Member States' resources, the most effective use for Member States and for the European Union in the context of their contributions.
One concrete step is Eurocorps, with 5 EU members and based in Strasbourg, but it's not the only one. Missions under the CSDP are widespread. EU4 is the umbrella label for the European Union force. So far, some 15 civilian and military peacekeeping missions with soldiers from various member states have been completed. The same amount are currently underway in, say, for example, Ukraine, Mali and the Palestinian territories. The CSDP only allows for the financing of civilian missions. Military or defence operations have to be financed by member states. Their contributions to a defence budget of sorts, 190 billion euros. But the problem with the 28 countries collective, member states see defence as a matter of strict national sovereignty, so there's duplication of equipment, resources and personnel. But the European Parliament, and in particular its Subcommittee on Security and Defence, is pushing for more oversight of the CSDP and are calling for an EU defence equipment market. Could that make a difference in the future? Well, there's definitely one thing that could make a huge difference, and it's something that has been discussed for decades. Has its time finally come? Of course, I'm talking about the idea bandied around by EU federalists, the idea of an EU army. The thing is, the EU actually has an army of sorts.
Well, actually, when you look at the battle groups from a military perspective, they're ready to go. It's just a rapid reaction for a crisis, and an expected crisis. So you have to have those conditions, because this is the concept of using a battle group. First of all, all member states don't necessarily have the same sensitivity, the same feeling about the importance of the crisis. And on the other side, it's an issue of financial means.
And that's always been its problem. Power and money struggles between member states have left them unused. Besides, their function is already served by NATO and UN peacekeeping troops. So it begs the question whether an EU army could ever really exist.
It's like firemen. I mean, if you don't have fire, would you stop having and training firemen? So you have always to be ready.
There's an old motto that says, united we stand, divided we fall. Since its inception, the European project has been about one thing, bringing its policies and people together. With common threats, they need common solutions if they are ever to break new ground on foreign and security policy.